There's no question at this point, after watching the damage done by taking a knee and the fall in attendance and the fall in viewership and all the rest, there's no question that by this point, however naive they might have been in the beginning, the people who make decisions like this know that this kind of thing hurts their business. It demeans their brand. It weakens their brand. It doesn't weaken their brand because football fans are homophobic. It weakens their brand because people go to football because they don't want to hear about this nonsense. So it is destructive to them economically, and they know this, but they do it anyway. There's the argument to be made that once you get to these higher levels in the skyscrapers, you don't really care about the money anymore in terms of that. And your main motivation in life and making decisions like this is the kind of high-level person would make decisions to run ads like this. You could make the argument that, well, they are moving in a circle where anybody who's not actively, promoting the woke agenda is against the woke agenda. So maybe it's peer pressure, maybe it's social pressure, maybe it's that. Maybe it's just Chinese money, They've thrown trillions of dollars of propaganda at this country, trillions of dollars in terms of influencing the election, trillions of dollars to Facebook and the tech giants to get their message across, as if that's going to work. I do actually genuinely pity those Chinese leaders sometimes. They are so unspeakably dense. So maybe it's that. But the question I keep coming out of these kind of things is this. What power is there over the people that make these decisions? What forces them to do something that they know is so contrary to their business, so contrary to their brand? And not only that, but you would think that with something like football or something like that, you would think that the people in football, the people at higher level management of football, love football. I know a lot of you out there say I'm too naive, and you're probably right. Probably they just love the money. But then the argument gets even worse. What's the gun to the head of these people that are making them do this? Because it's not working, you see. If anything, it's making the situation worse. And now we land on home plate, as far as I'm concerned, or perhaps a better metaphor would be now we're in the end zone with our hands up waiting to catch a ball with no coverage. This ad is not designed to increase acceptance of gay people. It's here to reduce it. It's here to make football fans more anti-gay. It's here to build resentment in people who never really had a homophobic bone in their body. They just didn't care. So why are they doing it? They know it's bad for them, and they know that the reaction, judging from this kind of thing, is, oh, we're getting lectured again. We're getting lectured again by the gay lobby or the black lobby or the whatever lobby. And by dividing the country up like this, they are making us more resentful, more angry, more intolerant of things that we used to be completely tolerant of. I think this is the ultimate purpose of an ad like this. It's not to reduce people's hostility towards gays, because there functionally isn't any. And the structural defect that costs the lives in Miami is the exact same structural defect that cost the lives of the 7 astronauts on board the Challenger and the 7 astronauts on board Columbia. It's the same structural defect that caused the Titanic to sink with so many people. It's a structural defect that's built into the human heart. And the structural defect works something like this. We know we have a problem. The problem hasn't happened today. It's going to cost us to take care of the problem, and so let's take care of the problem tomorrow. Just a year ago, during the pandemic, I felt a pain in my left arm. It wasn't what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. So I went to our doctor, and the cardiologist said, you're in great shape. For a guy who's 62, your chance of a heart attack is 1 in 1,000. I said, okay, I'll take those odds at this age. Why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this because I have heard from people in the past, handfuls of people, but that probably means a few more that didn't write me. I've heard from handfuls of people in the past that when they've heard this message, it's been enough to get them to finally go and do it. So, would you please finally go and do it? There is no advantage at all, none, to not taking care of a problem that you already know exists. And if you're waiting for the building to collapse, it will. You know, those people in the mall and the people on the Challenger in Columbia and the people in Miami didn't have to die. If people had paid attention to the warning signs that had been there from the beginning, that were clear and that they knew were there, if they paid attention to those warning signs, those tragedies wouldn't have happened. But they didn't. So, if you're afraid of getting bad news, look, it's better to get bad news while you can do something about it than while it's too late. I cannot imagine a worse destiny than to have somebody tell me that I've got some terminal illness that I could have gotten taken care of if I'd gotten to it sooner. Don't stand there and have your relatives wonder why you were buried in this rubble, metaphorically, when you knew that there were cracks in the staircase and that the building's foundations were off and that there were giant, gaps and just don't do it. If you think there's a problem, overcome by force of will the structural defect in the human heart that tells you, well, it's probably not going to happen today. This probably won't happen today, but it will happen. And you will be relieved to know how relieved you will be if you take my advice on this one, and I'm speaking from experience here.